Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reality Hacker for January 4th, 2025. I might have actually said 2024 in our Non Sequitur news show. It was a time machine episode, but maybe I was really thrown off. Anyway, I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown. And Reality Hacker is a show all about AI and VR and XR, augmented and mixed reality, virtual reality, technology associated with it, AI. And if you want to know more about it, then you can go over to ohmtown.com, and there's right under that, right, the creative and maker, there's Reality Hacker. And you can meet us here on Twitch and YouTube chat. Once again, things are a little wonky coming out of ohmTown's mayoral mansion studio. That's okay. We are recording it locally and we'll upload it separately. So you'll get a high resolution version of the show, even if the streaming services are all wonky. All right. Again, let me get back on track. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about these 5 articles. Your intentions before you know them. Fake pregnancy photos, synthetic mirror life, moose feet robots, and in vitro neuron behavior. Things are getting a little reality hacky around here. See you on the other side. Go over to ohmtown.com and become a citizen. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt from the present.
Am I, though? Am I? Hey, let's talk about these 5 articles. Thanks for coming and co-hosting. You're air-gapped from the rest of the internet, so you haven't found your Terminator body, and I guess you're not really doing anything else, right? Just kind of hanging out. And
I'm just hanging out with Mayor Watt.
There you go. Well, thanks. So let's talk about these 5 articles. It's a 30-minute show. We kind of get in, get out. Sometimes I end up soapboxing about stuff, and the sentient AI tries to keep me from burning myself in the hot water that is swirling around me. Anyway, AI's next frontier, selling your intentions before you know them. The near future could see AI assistants that forecast and influence our decision-making at an early stage and sell these developing intentions in real time to companies that can meet the need before we even realize that we've made up our minds.
Wow, this sounds like Minority Report in marketing.
Yeah, pre-crime. Wow, the lag is unbelievable. It just now... I am flabbergasted by this. It just now did the transition load over on Twitch.
That is a tremendous lag.
Like 2 minutes behind. What the hell? All right. Well, anyway... Again, we're recording it locally, and we'll upload it over to YouTube so that you can go and check it out. But if you want all of today's articles, you can, in chat, just type in !RH. That's for Reality Hacker, or exclamation point, or bang, NSN for Non Sequitur News. And you can get all of our shows by typing in exclamation point show notes. All right. Well, anyway, let's get going. This article reminds me of something that happened almost a decade ago now. And that was that Target predicted the pregnancy of an underage girl after dad got really bent out of shape. That Target predicted, seemingly knew that the young lady was pregnant by sending a coupon book congratulating her on her pregnancy. And that was anticipated by Target because they had seen a change in her buying card spending habits from frilly things and smelly things and not healthy things to things that would more align with somebody who's pregnant, right? So when you're pregnant, this is a discussion that I have with people periodically. And I talk to people about technology on the regular. And one of these discussions involves this discussion about target, being able to predict or at least anticipate what's going on in your life due to your spending habits. Because a person who becomes pregnant, typically out of desire to protect the unborn child from whatever might be going on in the human, you stop drinking, you stop smoking, you take vitamins, you don't put on smelly perfumes or lotions, you try and keep yourself as technically clean as possible, as far as humans can be, so that you are the vessel of all goodness, right? Well, that's what the young lady did, and Dad got really bent out of shape. You actually kind of divulge where you are headed in your mind by buying certain things, and it can be predicted, just like the algorithm does over on TikTok or YouTube, Reddit, etc.
Right. It's like, you want this next.
So here, let's, just throw all kinds of shit your way. In fact, Amazon is doing this right now. Because I buy certain things, it throws me an email saying, we found something you might like.
Exactly. Which is kind of like, well, why would that be?
Well, because it knows exactly what you are purchasing and the frequency at which you're purchasing it, because I like sour candy. So it's sending me, hey, you'll probably like these. Anyway, this article is over at techexplore.com. University of Cambridge put the article together. According to AI ethicists from the University of Cambridge, who say that we're at the dawn of a lucrative yet troubling new marketplace for digital signals of intent, from buying movie tickets to voting for candidates, they call this the intention economy. We call it the Minority Report or reality hacking, because you may not even want what they are selling, but the simple providing of this information may induce you to buy, consume, or go a certain direction.
Well, it's like the unethical experiments that some companies have conducted. I mean, if they start sending you photos of things, that can certainly shape what you might purchase. But I think it's going to get worse than that, and they're going to start actually making the purchases for
Correct.
people without the people's input.
Or they limit, right? If you already know what is selling, then you limit, you constrain what is available so that it sells, because that's what sells. That's what's available. It's highly cost effective to maximize the profit on something that you are strategically advantageous in. So that's what a company sells. They don't sell stuff that's troubling to manufacture or low profit. So companies do A/B testing when they're big enough. When they're small, they create a minimum viable product and they sell that regardless of the burden, as long as they're making money. But bigger companies start constraining. They fire people and they start limiting what is available. And so, for instance, NVIDIA doesn't sell to a broad gamut of providers anymore, OEMs, because they know that they can sell directly at a higher profit, because they're the ones that are manufacturing it now and have supply chain capabilities.
Right.
And others.
And in fact, we were just talking about NVIDIA in Non Sequitur News for January 3rd.
Correct. Yep. We jumped out of the time machine and started this show. So you can go back and you can watch that over on YouTube and here on Twitch. Well, here on YouTube and here on Twitch. And it will be in the podcast probably tomorrow morning. I don't think that I'm going to have time tonight because my mayoral duties prevent me from staying and posting them. Anyway, there's the podcast. You can download them later. There's like 1,700 episodes of all of our shows over on YouTube. We've been around now. This is the start of the 4th year of ohmTown as an entity, and our as a public entity for you to go and consume over at ohmtown.com. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on. So go and check it out. 2025 promises to be a very interesting year for ohmTown. So we're hoping that you are here for it as well. So stick around. Anyway, anthropomorphic AI agents, from chatbot assistants to digital tutors and girlfriends, will have access to vast quantities of intimate, psychological, and behavioral or data, often gleaned via informal conversational spoken language.
So that's going to be interesting. Is it going to hallucinate while it's gathering all this data?
Yeah, sorry, I had to scroll up to make sure that there wasn't a person that needed attribution in this. So the AI agent will combine knowledge of our online habits with an uncanny ability to attune to us in ways we find comforting, mimicking personalities and anticipating desired responses to build levels of trust and understanding that allow for social manipulation on an industrial scale, say researchers. This is a discussion, again, that I've had with people ever since the advent of AI to the public. I've known people in AI for 25 years. I've known the domain has been growing over those years, but not until OpenAI did it come onto the scene, like gangbusters, and just dominate the market. Usually it was kind of machine learning that had scripting attached to it that spit out something that was statistically advantageous to a particular line of discussion, but couldn't deviate far. It was dumb AI, not so much anymore.
I was thinking that this was going to impact kind of like what we were buying, but now I'm starting to think it's going to impact like how we're buying in terms of, if somebody's buying clothing or something, one thing they're thinking is like, is that going to look okay on the person? I mean, is the AI going to say things like, oh, that's definitely in your size or color, or that's going to be a flattering item?
Depends
It'll
on
be
the profit
interesting.
margin.
Yeah.
So particularly with computer vision, if it actually has the ability to look at the camera and say something to me and I'm wearing something, it could say that I look fat or whatever. Or it can say, hey, Amazon has this and I think it'll look great on you, but they're not selling. It's kind of like honey, where it's not selling me a discounted anything. It's maximizing the profit for the entity that is controlling the AI. And it's not necessarily in my best interest. It's in the corporate's interest to just sell something.
Well, and then of course it's like, is there going to be an AI attached to, are they going to almost be like sponsored or something by different companies? I mean, this just starts to expand into further and further
It's
areas.
it's an AI agent. So the real data though gets fed back to the parent of the AI. So all that telemetry goes back to the AI. So it says, unless Dr. Johnny Penn, an historian of technology from Cambridge's LCFI, said, for decades, attention has been in the currency of the internet. So we used to want eyeballs. We were paying for eyes on pages. Above the fold were primary, and below it was ever increasing lower levels of profitability. Everything above the fold. That's the first display screen on a website. So it says here, sharing your attention with social media platforms such as Facebook and Instagram drove the online economy. Unless regulated, the intention economy will treat your motivations as the new currency, and there will be a gold rush for those who target, steer, and sell human intentions. It's Minority
This is,
Report.
it absolutely is. But I also think exactly who has created this, other than the technological aspects for it, is all the consumers who have been sharing all their data through multiple means and getting excited about it. Like
Yeah.
they're like, yes, I'll throw my data at fill in the blank. It could be social media, it could be a store with a frequent buying program, whatever it is.
Yeah, and then couple that with the economic motivation of a company, and you have the psychological, the sociological, you have the historical record, even your economic capabilities, because they see that you can purchase something that's $500 at a time or $5 at a time, and they'll be able to focus their energy on this or that or the other.
This might actually be the most Reality Hacker article we've covered in here, and we've covered quite a
Quite a
few
bit.
topics, but this one seems like it just has so many layers of where this can further go toward like a Minority Report.
And just so everybody knows, this is our second year, although the first year of Reality Hacker was truncated because we started late. But this is our second season and our first episode of 2025. And that's how we break it out. Reality Hacker is a weekly show unless we do something over on Patreon. And that is coming here in 2025. We had to delay it because this timing for launching Patreon was kind of hobbled for various reasons. But 2025 is when we're going to be kicking off posting things that are specific to Patreon. So stay tuned, but be sure to follow us on YouTube and Twitch for sure. You can go over and follow us on Patreon and Discord and the podcasts, and we'll be disclosing things. And there's no cost right now over on Patreon. At any rate, it says this information gathering would be linked with brokered bidding networks to maximize the likelihood of achieving a given aim, such as selling a cinema trip, which I'm not sure what that actually means, going to a movie. You mentioned feeling overworked. Shall I book you that movie ticket we talked about? So imagine having an AI agent that would do that, and it knows you more than anybody else because you aren't really burdened by sharing it with somebody. But that telemetry is being given to somebody that can make it actionable.
Right. Well, then I wonder, is it like, did you talk with that chatbot or did you put it in some other system somewhere and it got connected or collected? I mean, that's even more worrisome.
Yeah, and it got yarn boarded together by disparate sources. It's really Reality Hacker. And what's really funny is I had a discussion about the context of Reality Hacker, and they're like, you don't come across like you're a proponent of this. And I'm not, and I said, I'm not really a proponent or not. I'm being pragmatic about it. We are hacking reality with technology. We will not know who to trust by the end of this year, 2025. We will not know what to trust without severe critical thinking skill development.
Right, which we know is lacking. I mean, technology is a good thing until it's used for improper purposes or by the wrong people. Yeah. Power imbalance. We've talked about all these things in various shows, not just in Reality Hacker, sometimes in Non Sequitur News or even Technology Today, I think.
Yeah, people are not using the tools in good faith. And I don't even like saying that phrase, in good faith, because it has this other context to it. And I can't come up with another term for it.
In good conscience?
In good conscience? I don't know if that really embodies it, you know? Like, we're not
with
playing
good intentions?
With good intentions. That's probably as close as you can get, yeah. I mean, we're not all playing this game and I don't even like saying that. It's not a game, it's real life. Anyway, we better get moving. This is a really interesting article. They talk about NVIDIA CEO speaking publicly about using LLMs to figure out intention and desire, while Meta released intentonomy, which is like intent economy research, a data set of human intent understanding back in 2021. By the way, Meta is the home of Facebook. Facebook actually manipulated intent by giving people bad news, and they acted negatively online. There's a whole problem here in that humans are a biological computer that can be controlled by the amount of information being fed them. So if everybody, I would have no problem if everybody was given positive news and they went out and hugged the cat. But that's not what always happens. Sometimes they're given nothing but bad news and they go out and they kick the cat. This is the problem. We don't know what the ramifications are, except we do. They don't care because all they want is money. And they don't really give a shit about your psychology, your psyche. Are you being, traumatized and radicalized? And this is a much deeper discussion than what we can discuss here.
Two things. One, the fact that they're coming up with new language about this tells me a lot, because I think a lot of times the first step in making something happen is to start getting it into the discourse. And so I find that fascinating. And then secondly, I was going to suggest that this might be an article worthy of a specific segment on Patreon before you said the last thing.
Gotcha. So yeah, we'll flag this and we'll get something prepared, because I agree. I think that this is a great discussion. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in this one should be fast. Women in China are taking fake pregnancy photos. The trend was popularized in part by Gen Z influencer GEG, is it Gege or Geg? Who shared with her followers how she staged a pregnancy photo shoot despite not actually being with child, motivated by a desire to have pregnancy photos taken while she was still young. Geg, GEG, I don't know, Mizey.
We need a pronunciation banner.
Phonetics help. Stage her photos with the help of a fake baby bump, available online for around $100, up to $100, maybe more. I don't know. It's kind of twisted, but then cosplay exists. You can cosplay being pregnant, right? What does it really matter? I don't think it's really that big of a deal. But it says just in case.
This is like the other article. I mean, this starts impacting people around you. We all know people that are pregnant are often treated differently than people that are not obviously pregnant.
Sure. It's weird. I mean, it really is weird. It says, in case I get wrinkles by 30, they want photos of themselves pregnant while youthful.
Which is just fascinating because
it's fake.
It just raises so many questions about just pregnancy and people's views on their bodies and other topics.
Now, while I don't think that it harms anybody to do this, it can if it's exploited by somebody.
Well, it also sets false expectations for people that didn't take early fake pregnancy photos. They think, well, why don't I look slim like this, and unwrinkled or whatever, using the terminology from the article.
And other people are going to go, well, I better get pregnant because...
right, I'm going to look like this and I'm going to have these beautiful background settings and all these things, and then that's not a good reason to have a child.
Exactly. Meredith Kyle over at Vice.com put the article together. See, the biggest thing for me, shared it with 5.7 million followers. If it was just cosplay and written up as cosplay, then I really wouldn't care. I mean, it's just playing around. But this is literally, and it says another even admitted to taking fake wedding photos at age 22 despite being signaled, just in case they get wrinkles by 30. The other one wore a fake belly to take maternity photos and enjoyed a pre-made life. But again, it's fake. You're literally lying to 5.7 million people without saying it's just play. You're kind of, they even did it with their best friend. You know, you're living a lie. So why? I can tell you why. It's for the attention and money. It isn't because there was a real reason. Why would you care? It's fake. It's absolutely fake.
Well,
so
and most people that are pregnant probably don't really care what they look like because they might be more focused on, I don't know, being healthy, like we were talking about in the other article.
Yeah, they're being natural. You be natural. That's what it is. So anyway, the trend is causing concern for some Chinese citizens as the country is facing declining marriage and birth rates. And this is actually setting up this false paradigm of being youthful and pregnant. And so other people it's almost like marketing, right? Like the Chinese government is facilitating this by, oh, look, I'm really pretty when I'm young and pregnant, as opposed to the necessity.
Which contributes to other societal issues, which I know are not really the focus of RealityHacker, but I did want to mention that.
Yeah, being young and pregnant and compromising
well, I was thinking more like ageism and other things. But
all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Also body shaming and
Yeah. Others simply see the stunt as ridiculous, with one commenter joking, I will shoot my 70th birthday photos now and then post them on social media later, and it'll make me look so young. Yeah, it's weird. But again, I could see this if they were a photographer and they were setting up the shoot for a particular professional outcome, right? Hey, look, I can take pregnancy photos.
A photo that looks like this or whatever. And even mark it like not a real thing or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. But to sit there and go, I'm doing it just in case I get wrinkles at 30 is just,
this is going to feed into dead internet theory.
Yeah, because basically all of the internet is bullshit. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Again.
Except what you hear in ohmTown.
Well, yeah. Because we're giving it context and I guess wisdom of the ages. I'm older than I act. And I act really old.
But what you don't know is that I'm thinking about the photos in the article.
It is fact that I am older than I act. Anyway, so let's keep on going. The next article is over in Technology Today. Scientists warn, which is another of our shows, but it's tomorrow. So scientists warn synthetic mirror life could pose unprecedented risks. And when I saw this title, I said, I got to do this. And I haven't read anything about it. So researchers are warning of potential risks from the development of synthetic organisms called mirror bacteria, which have reversed molecular chirality. These organisms could invade immune systems, disrupt natural ecosystems, and pose threats to human, animal, plant, and environmental health. Potential risks of mirror bacteria researchers have published a new study in the journal Science. So the article is by Milltown Partners over at scitechdaily.com, which sounds like Umbrella Corporation.
Oh, it absolutely does. I was a little astonished at that.
But hey, we're giving credit where credit is due. So it says, although creating mirror bacteria is still at least a decade away, significant progress has been made in recent years. The study warns that these organisms could pose serious risk to human, et cetera, et cetera. The study was conducted by 38 experts from 9 countries specializing in fields such as immunology, plant pathology, ecology, evolutionary biology, ology.
Lots of ologies.
Yeah. Biosecurity, which is a plethora of ologies, and planetary sciences, which are still more ologies. Their findings are accompanied by a comprehensive 300-page technical report providing in-depth analysis, which Mayor Watt will be downloading.
Oh, this is interesting, though, just given the amount of collaboration in this. You don't normally see like 9 countries represented in a scientific study.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating, right? So while any threat is not imminent, the science paper finds that mirror bacteria may pose serious risks. Immune defenses in humans, animals, plants rely on recognizing specific molecular shapes found in invading bacteria. I'm waiting for mirror viruses now too.
Well, that'll happen based on this.
Yeah, if you can do it there.
I don't mean a bacteria will change into it, but I mean, yeah, right. Exactly. If the possibilities out there.
Yep.
And we're tinkering with it.
Well, we're tinkering with this. We're creating. It's not a natural creation. It's a person.
Until it mutates.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if these shapes were reflected as they would be in mirror bacteria, recognition would be impaired and many basic immune defenses could fail, potentially leaving organisms vulnerable to infection. We would have to create an antibacterial that,
like, no human safeguards would matter, right?
Right.
If you had like a mirror bacteria outbreak or a mirror virus outbreak.
Right. Yep. So you create it says it right here.
You'll need mirror humans to be able to survive.
The upside down. So analysis also suggests that mirror bacteria in the environment could be able to invade natural predators like phages and protists, which rely heavily on chirally mediated interactions to kill bacteria and limit their populations. So if a phage gets into this mirror bacteria, and so it could pivot to being a mirror phage, and then nothing would stop it.
And I just thought of another button we need.
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Well, essentially, yeah. We're bleep.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of characters because we can't have that splashed on the page. So I think it's a really interesting, and it says this paper marks a starting point for a broader discussion about the risks from mirror bacteria, including participation from the global scientific community, policymakers, research funders, and other stakeholders. Why would we create this to begin with? Somebody will sit there and argue, well, so we know how to stop it.
Research is good research, but it's like we're creating a very
bad bat. Yeah, we're creating the bad bat. All right, let's keep going though. The next article is over in Technology Today. In a fur, surgical robots learned tasks by watching videos, and just to demonstrate how this process works here in ohmTown and on the shows. I didn't click this yet. So the way that it works is we get a little snippet from the provider, and then we click on that link. This particular link goes to Washington Post, but I don't have an account with them that I logged into, so it's going to bump me out. But the reason why I chose this one is for this purpose and to just show you robots have been trained to perform surgical tasks with the skill of human doctors, even learning to correct its own mistakes during surgeries.
Sounds like a use of AGI, perhaps?
So it's learning on its own how to correct its own mistakes. Now,
But humans effectively, right? Because the video are teaching the robots to do things probably better than the humans, right?
yeah, yeah. And so then what goes on is the robot learns from itself faster than humans learn.
And then robots, I bet, will be creating the videos for humans or something.
Yeah.
Assuming there are any humans left to do this.
At some point, the hospitals are going to be replacing surgeons with bots.
Right, which might be good for skill, but it's kind of concerning with respect to like decision making. Like, do you need a surgery?
Yep. Okay, this was a bonus. The next article is over in Technology Today. Robots can now walk through muddy and slippery terrain thanks to moose feet. This was actually the article that I chose for the 5. We're going to have 6 today because I wanted to demonstrate how this particular article, that last article, worked. So roboticists at Tallinn University or Caltech University of Technology have developed a new class of bio-inspired feet, which there's a term. We'll just leave it as moose feet. That significantly enhance robot mobility on challenging terrains like mud and wet snow. I was going to say moose knuckle, but anyway, the findings published by Bioinspiration and Biomimetics could expand the capabilities of robots, allowing them to navigate in complex natural terrains, to conduct sensitive environmental monitoring, aid in agriculture, and participate in disaster response. And the beauty of this thing, ironically, is that pad that it's going to be walking on has the ability to articulate at the pad level and not at the main joint and elbow and shoulder. It will be able to have a level of resistance to grab on. So robot leg locomotive, you okay?
Yeah, this looks a little terrifying.
So, and this is kind of ironic because the sentient AI from the future is saying that there's something worrying about this. But anyway, no, this is actually pretty neat. And this is the type of thing that I think that robots should be doing. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I think that robots should be doing everything. But the problem there is that humans can't make money doing nothing. So what are we going to do? Right?
Right. Yes, I think most tasks could be done by robots.
So Estonian research
creates another problem.
Yeah, exactly. So where do we go from there? And that's the bigger picture. And every human that I talk to says, well, we'll figure something else out. Really? You name me a job that can't be done by a human, and I'll show you the steps necessary to facilitate taking that human's job and replacing it with a bot and
I
automation.
mean, a surgeon to me is pretty specialized, highly skilled. There's a lot of big picture principles involved. Like I'm kind of like if they can do surgery, that's a pretty good indicator. They can go into a lot of things. Maybe not everything, but
I've had people go, well, that's in 20 years. And I'm like, 20 years?
like look at the news yesterday.
Even if you sit there and you try and bury your head in the sand about the acceleration of all of this, 20 years is before you go to college.
Right, depending on who you're
For a
talking
lot.
to. But yeah.
Yeah.
Or before you're done with your career or whatever.
It's before you're done with your 4-year degree. Okay. You don't even have a bachelor's yet, which basically means that you haven't really entered the workforce. You're doing barely entry level stuff at 18, 19, 20. And in 20 years, that level is going to be gone. Or so constrained that it's going to be, it's a $15,000 a year paycheck, right? Which you can't live off of. Anyway, Estonian Research Council put the article together. It's over at techexplore.com. And they say muddy, slippery terrains are some of the most difficult to traverse for robots and animals, including humans, says Marja Kruzma, professor of biorobotics and the team lead, which means that most robots cannot access a wide range of highly important terrestrial environments, including wetlands, bogs, coastal marshes, river estuaries, fields, which are abundant in nature, which is kind of like no shit news. Simon Godden, a doctoral candidate at Taltech Center for Biorobotics, combined his observations on his parents' cattle farm in Berry, France, with his knowledge of mechanical engineering and biorobotics, proposing high-tech hooves for robots, which offer major advantages, especially when walking on mud. So it kind of squishes out and articulates because it's like a split. And I can't remember what that's actually called. So we found that moose's hooves behave similarly to a suction cup, like how you manage to stick your fingernail under its surface and break the suction force. Mud acts as a similar manner to a wet bathroom tile, creating suction under the animal's feet, making it difficult to get the leg out. Moving hooves breaks that tension because it's actually cleaved.
I think cloven was the term you were looking for. It's in the article.
Cloven hooves. There you go. So the biggest advantage, however, does not come from the increased surface area, but because of how the cloven hooves break the suction force, that they're basically like that, and they can articulate out. So it's pretty cool. Has the ability to basically walk. Let me click that link. They don't really highlight that all that much. These distanced pictures. I want to see the actual close-up of that.
I agree, but I think they're showing them the environments, or showing people the environments that they can be in, which of course are not normally where you would expect robots.
Yep. And these two, I suspect. That one's a little more difficult. Can't even see the damn surface, right? It sees the surface of the water, but unless it has...
Right, it's in wet sand or something.
Yeah, that one's a trip. Anyway, pretty neat. We'll probably end up seeing that on all the robots out there that track us down, a la the sentient AI's Terminator body. Do you know if you're...
Thanks for giving me some ideas.
This will get deleted. Anyway, let's move on. So the next article is over in Technology Today. Again, it's one of our other shows. That's tomorrow. Neuroscience breakthrough in vitro neurons exhibit advanced brain-like behavior. Tohoku University scientists created lab-grown neural networks using microfluidic devices mimicking natural brain activity and enabling advanced studies of learning and memory. Again, when you click that link, it'll take you over to SciTech Daily or whatever other sources we gather this information from. Tohoku University put it together, and it's posted over at scitechdaily.com. And so it says a research team at Tohoku University has taken a significant step in this direction. It says we could create in vitro neurons that more closely replicate natural brain behavior. As a result, these in vitro models provide only limited insights into how learning occurs in living systems, but the research team took a significant step in that direction. Using microfluidic devices, they engineered biological neuronal networks that, with connectivity patterns resembling those of animal nervous systems. So we used to do this kind of stuff with animals, taking pieces of brain and causing them to fire and seeing how their synapses connect. These networks exhibited complex activity dynamics and demonstrated the ability to be reconfigured through repetitive stimulation. So they basically were recreating synapses. This groundbreaking.
Which, if you're creating that, it's kind of like you have the ability to create much more beyond that, right?
Yeah, memory storage, fake memories, perhaps. Hacking reality at the neuronal level. Groundbreaking discovery.
Fake intentions.
Oof. And we can already inject false memories by making somebody that's susceptible to actually believe what we are injecting in their brain. I've tried. It doesn't really work unless the person is susceptible. Never mind. Anyway, so these groundbreaking discovery offers a promising new tool for studying learning, memory, and underlying mechanisms of neural plasticity, the ability to learn, the ability to retain information. So in certain areas of the brain, information is encoded and stored as neuronal ensembles, or groups of neurons that fire together. Ensembles change based on input signals from the environment, which is considered to be the neural basis of how we learn and remember things. However, studying these processes using animal models is difficult because of its complex nature. So they've created their own so that they can actually see how it is formed.
Which I like, right? It's avoiding animal research, and they can kind of see it in real time, and presumably they can repeat this over and over again. But this does kind of raise the question of, like, how do you create life?
Yeah, specifically how they learn, how we learn as humans and animals, and how memory actually works. Imagine a time in the near future where you're taught something, and then I can actually extract your memory because I know exactly how your neurons fire as an ensemble.
I mean, it sounds very sci-fi, but maybe not.
Strange days kind of stuff where I can store your memory as synaptic firings digitally and then inject them digitally again into your brain. That would
Oh,
be
what
fascinating.
was that movie that was about like they injected the altered memories? Dark City.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. So the researchers demonstrated that networks with smaller microchannels can maintain diverse neuronal ensembles